Hello friends, I'm Amanda Barr.
And I'm Rebecca Lou Brennan, and welcome to Dance Principles United, the podcast.
Together, we are passionate about helping studio owners with the business of running their studio.
Join us as we talk everything from marketing, systems, studio culture, motherhood, life, and everything in between.
This is the Dance Principles United podcast. Hey friends, and welcome to the Dance Principles United podcast. Hello, lovely Beck. How are you doing?
I'm great. I feel like we're having too much fun today.
We've had a ball.
We are still having a ball.
We always have a ball.
Yeah.
I love podcasting with you. It's my
Yeah, same.
favourite thing.
It is actually.
It is so much fun.
Yep.
I wanted to talk. It's like that time of the year. Wait a second. Let's hold up because I haven't had a
Wait
chance to.
a minute.
Wait a minute. We haven't had a chance to get some updates. What is going on in your life? We've been interviewing people. Update me. What's going on?
Oh, what is
You had
going
musical last weekend.
on? We had musical last weekend,
Yes.
which was amazing.
What did you do?
What did we do? Frozen. God, I couldn't remember.
I knew what it was, but
There's a lot happening. No,
Yeah.
we did Frozen.
Frozen Junior, is it?
Junior last
So
weekend.
cute.
It was
Yeah.
so good. We have 2 casts. It's a lot.
How
but
many kids?
Maybe like 80.
Yeah, so 2 casts of 40 sort of thing.
No, we just do there's 2 casts of 80, but each
Okay.
child has a different role. So
Role.
BB, for example, in one was Anna.
Yes.
But then in the other cast is just a cast dancer,
Okay.
singer kind of thing. So they
To give different
just
kids
to try and give as many kids an opportunity to
I love that.
sing or talk.
So everyone's in the 2 shows, but
Correct.
they just play different
So we have
parts.
2 different Annas, 2 different Elsas, 2 different Olafs, 2
Yeah.
different Svens. Yeah. It was good.
I love that.
Yeah.
I just want to be a Sven when I grow up. I'm sorry. I just want to go back to that.
Can I be really honest with
Yes.
you about that? So I don't teach musical. And we've done this for a long time now, so I don't want people to think that things just magically happen because that is not the case.
Yes.
But this is our 4th musical, I think, 3rd or 4th, I can't remember. Anyway, I didn't teach it. I didn't organise the props. I didn't organise the costumes. I had never seen the musical until I turned up on the day and watched it.
Did
And
you
that
sit in the
was-
audience or did you
I sat in
run
the
it?
audience for both.
You sat in the, you didn't even run it from side stage?
No, and I did not go to the rehearsal because the girls said to me, and I'm very proud of my team, we don't need you at rehearsal. In other words, you're going to be actually a pain in the ass at
Please
rehearsal.
don't come to rehearsal and give us
Literally.
opinions.
Literally.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I actually, it's probably the first experience of me with BB where I actually, and you would understand this
Yeah.
now, but I've never ever had that experience with my child where I haven't seen any of the journey, haven't been a part of the planning, haven't been a part of anything. And obviously there's been a lot of staff training that's gone into that.
Absolutely.
You know,
The staff
Shane,
got-
Taryn
yeah.
run it, who have been with me for 16 years
Yes.
and know about critical paths and know about all of the things. But I was just like, wow, that is just an
And you got to be a
amazing-
mum.
And I got to be a mum.
That's
and it
so
was a
nice.
really special day. And of course, I stayed for the second cast and
Of
watched them
course.
as well. And Josh was Sven in it. And
I love that. How
yeah,
cute. She
one
would
of
have
the
loved
twins.
that.
So it was anyway, it was really cool. What else is happening? I've got 7 concerts coming up next weekend. I actually have this weekend off. And I'm actually, haven't
How
told you
nice.
this, I'm actually thinking about just going away for a night just to get away from the noise.
Okay. I love it.
Anyway, because we've had so many weekends in a row, like
Yes.
tree lighting, and all right, so I haven't really had time. And then I've got 7 concerts the weekend after that, and then I've got our troop concert on the Thursday after that, and then we've got
Gaga.
Gaga on the
Box
Saturday
seats to
after that.
Gaga. We haven't talked about that on the podcast.
No.
We'll have to do a debrief afterwards. 'Cause
Yes,
that's
we'll do
gonna
a
be
debrief
so
on that, guys.
much fun.
Yeah, and then
Crazy.
we've got one more week of classes, and then we're done.
Crazy. And then it's Christmas and all of that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Nuts, right? I
What's
just
your
got
update?
back. Well. We're in Fiji last week. Came back for a day. Went to Harvey Bay for, I don't know, 3 days, but it felt like about 28. I don't know why. I had a few, not in a bad way. It just, I had a few problems on the flight and the way home and was on standby and all this sort of shit. Had the most.
It took you like 15 hours to get home.
at least.
Yeah,
Maybe more.
that's crazy. That's crazy.
Maybe like 16 or 17. It's not, and it shouldn't be that far.
No, it's not that far. There was a cyclone though, so I think
there was
we
a
need to
cyclone.
remember
But they
that.
didn't say that was the reason for the problem.
Yeah, but there was probably delays the day before that they made.
Yeah, but they said the delays were in Canberra.
Oh.
Anyway, off topic. Who the fuck knows? But I had the most incredible day with Candice and Brad from the League Studios, right?
Oh, cool.
And Beck and I, we're really talking about this for the first time. I haven't actually had a chance to update her properly. They won our open week competition inside our Studio Growth Club members, where they got like a VIP day. And so I spent, 7 or so hours in their studio with them, with the two owners, and their manager was in for some of it as well.
That should probably be a podcast as well, to be honest.
We should, absolutely. And it was so incredible. We got to do 2026 planning.
Yeah.
We got to really set some great goals. We did things like we changed up, some of their comp teams and the structure of a few things with their classes. There was a whole heap of amazing things. It was so much fun. I love doing it. I had so much fun doing it.
I love that.
And they're just lovely people.
They are beautiful people.
Yes, it was so, so nice.
Speaking of comp teams,
Absolutely.
that is literally what we're talking about today.
That's a nice little segue.
That was we planned that segue. So
we planned that segue. I always want to say Segui. I listen to another podcast and they always say that.
Do they?
And now it's become like my word that I want to
Really?
use. Yeah, anyway.
Okay.
But that was a great segue because we want to talk about comp teams, because it's that time of the year that a lot of us are, we're doing re-enrolments and we're talking about how do our comp teams work for next year. Some of you probably have already made the decision, but we kind of wanted to talk about pros and cons and how we've both done it in the past, how you're doing it currently. Is it auditions? Is it invitations? Is it, a minimum number of classes? Is it free for all? Like, there's so many different options, right?
So many. And I don't know that my answers are correct, but I'm going to give you what I do and tell you the whole thing. When Amanda was just chatting about us doing this, I said, yep, I'm going to be totally raw and honest about this, because I feel like the comp world is changing so much.
And so quickly.
Yep. That it is, I'm grasping at straws right now to decide what is best to move forward and how to move forward. And I know that a lot of our studio owners are doing the same. I was actually talking this morning to Chloe and Kiralee about this exact thing, and they're unsure what to do and how to do all the things. So
because the level has just increased in comps, out of control,
Amanda,
in such a small period of time.
It is so out of control. Like it is.
The talent is amazing.
Well, I don't know about talent. I'm going to be honest. I feel like it is how much we are training the kids at such a young age
better word
now.
is the training. Yeah.
It's the insane amount of hours these kids are doing, as well as how crazily they are being trained, that the level is just insanity, but you have to do that to keep up with the level. It's like, it's a vicious circle.
It absolutely is. So how have you and I have always differed in how we, let's not, before we talk about how you're doing it next year.
You start with how you do
Okay.
it. Yeah.
So I have always done invitation only to comp teams.
Right.
We had a very large recreational program, so that was a little bit different to you. Always did invitation only. I didn't do an audition as such because I feel like that sets kids up for failure.
Agree.
And let's be honest, the kids. You don't need to – it's not a 20-minute audition. It's the whole year worth of watching them, right?
Right.
So we invited kids into our comp teams. After – and that's how we always kind of worked. We also had minimum requirements that they had to do to be in the comp teams, which towards the end were quite high, like very high. And that really worked well for us. What we did do after a long time, maybe after 10 years or 15, we probably did this about maybe 6 or 7 years ago. Let's go back to that. Was we started now, I don't want to say a B-level team, but, a development kind of program.
I didn't know you did this.
We called it performance team, right?
Right.
And so it was a performance team. So we had our troop teams and then our performance team.
Right.
So we've had those for years and years and years. And that was a really great, introduction. So we'd put them in that first quite often. And we also talked about it that it wasn't always as such a about their level, that they weren't as good, but sometimes it was that they were prepared to have a lower level of commitment because they were a soccer player or because they were a netball player. So, our troop kids had to do, like, for example, 8 classes a week and they only had to do 3. And so that worked really well for some kids who also wanted to play comp netball or do anything
so I've got
like
questions.
That. Yeah.
Did the performance team do comp?
Yes, but we never let them compete at the same comps, which was a lot of fucking work.
Yeah, that's
And
100%.
So they did different comps so that they weren't competing against each
Yes.
other. And the problem with that was, we obviously tried to find them the inverted commas easier comps. But sometimes you don't know what the fucking easy
There
comps are.
is no easy comp anymore.
There isn't an easy comp.
That does not exist.
But sometimes the way it would fall as well, we'd do on the week, if they were 2 weekends back to back, we'd have the troops in one and then the performance team in the next one. We're like, last week's comp was so much easier and we had our better kids in it and it was like the wrong way around.
But you can't choose.
Because you didn't know.
You don't know what amazing school's going to enter any comp.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, for us being a bit down the coast, we'd be like, oh, we'll just go a bit further down the coast and it's a bit,
Right.
It's not as competitive.
Right.
There's not as many studios. Not always the way. You'd have these incredible high-level Sydney ones come for a day trip down
Right.
and, you never knew, right? And that was the hard thing, but it was a good experience for the kids and it gave them kind of a stepping stone from rec. So there was like 3 levels. We had rec, performance team, comp teams.
Right.
Always did invitation only. That's all we did. What did you do always?
We always did. Everybody could be a part of the competitive team, like every single person.
Yep.
And
Which blows my mind.
Yeah, I know.
I'm going to be honest. Yeah, it blows my mind.
Yeah. And they only had to do a technique class. At first, I didn't do that, actually. When I first had the studio, I had a whole heap of things they had to do. But then I found that my comp teams, especially with the younger levels, were quite small. So then I changed it up so that everyone just had to do technique. But then I found that kids did extra stuff anyway. So I think with that, it worked really well for us. But we also, I don't want to sound arrogant, but we had a very high level of training and we still do.
Absolutely, because I'm very much a big believer in that great teachers, like, it's not actually about what the kids are capable of. It's about the teaching, the technique, the choreography,
Correct.
all of those things.
And 10 years ago, I don't think it was as high a standard as it is now by any means. And also when there's 34 to 40 kids on stage, you can be smart about your choreography and have those kids that aren't as good doing more simple things and not showcase them, but obviously you're not going to have them doing any hard tech stuff and you can showcase your
sections and, choreography blocks and stuff like that.
So we did that pretty successfully for quite a few years, actually.
Absolutely. And you have huge groups. Like you have
massive.
Like in your 6 and under group, I saw them recently. What is that? Like 4,000 of them.
Well, 2 years ago, yes.
Yes, 2 years ago I would have seen them. Sorry, that's when I came to
we would have had 42 in that group that you saw 2 years ago. Now we've divvied it up into a 4, 5s and 6s. We still have 25 in each group, but
there's 3 different age groups.
We've just done that because it was getting too big. Like this year I had, for example, 57 kids enroll in 6 and under jazz. I can't put 57 children on stage at once. So that's why we.
So could I just ask on that? I know this isn't the point. So you have like 5s and 6s. They compete against each other in 6 and unders.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, all 3 compete against each
because
other.
quite often there wouldn't be a 4 and under section.
Not very often at all.
No. So quite often it would be 4, 5, 6s, 3 different routines with 3 different sets of kids. Any kids that went across them? No.
Never.
It
is age as of 1st of January,
Yep,
the end.
the end.
We never
No,
let anybody dance up in any age group except 14s.
Okay.
We'll let some of our 12s go into 14s and
Okay.
we'll let some of our 14s go into senior
seniors.
because I think by that age they can handle doing the extra groups. But our 6s this year did hip-hop, ballet, jazz, tap and lyrical in a comp.
Yes. Okay.
So,
So
they're going to a comp and doing 5 dances.
routines. Yeah. So you can't ask them to do the 5s 5 dances and the 6s 5 dances,
Well,
right?
we could, but I think
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a bit ridiculous.
Absolutely. Okay. So you've done that successfully. You've always just let anyone else in. Tell me what does that look like when you get like, it's one thing for 6s, right? To let any 6s in. What about the 12-year-olds that you have start who isn't great. We've all been there. Do you let her in?
Yep.
Even into your competitive 12s group?
Yep.
What about the 14-year-olds?
Yep.
Really? That blows my mind. That so shocks me. You should see my face right now. I'm like, really? You really let her in?
But Amanda, when you I think you're thinking about a group of 15 kids where it's very obvious then when that child's in there. But when you have a group of 30 kids, I just don't think it's that obvious.
Okay.
Like we were very successful with that.
Oh yeah, I know.
Many,
I've
many,
seen your
many
groups.
years.
So
Yeah.
like they're incredible. Yeah,
Yeah.
it blows my mind.
And that's the thing. You would have seen those groups 2 years ago.
And I didn't realise.
And we crushed it at that comp that you were at, and you would not have realised that there were kids in there that had
Yes. Politely say that aren't as technically great, right?
100%.
But you made a change this year. So let's talk about that. You've made a pivot.
But whether it was the right pivot or not, I don't know. But we have made a pivot because I think our soloists, we just did re-enrolment day and 140 kids enrolled in a solo.
Fuck me, it's a lot of soloists.
Is that?
And some of them do too, right?
Yes, but does that blow your mind?
It's a lot of soloists, yeah.
Anyway, so we've had 140 kids enroll in solos, and because our soloists are training so hard and probably have been for the last 2 or 3 years, I have to
The
say.
level's starting to split.
It's too much.
Yep.
And last year, for example, our 10s, who were an incredible group, there was probably 4 or 5 of them in 10s that I was like, you are nowhere near the level of the others. Like, I'm not saying every kid in there's a soloist. That's not the case at all. But and then those 10s didn't do as well as I thought they should have. So now I'm getting to a point where my elite kids don't want to be with those kids, and not in an awful way, but they feel like, why should we have to keep going over things when they are the ones we're going over for? And then those kids are probably feeling bad because they know they're not as good as the other kids.
And it's not as enjoyable for them.
And so for me, I was like, this isn't fair to anyone. But we'd had kids that in that 10s, for example, who had been with us since they were 2 with all these other kids who had always done comp. So my idea was to do tribe and company. And tribe was still a comp class.
Like my performance team or whatever it was,
And then company was our higher level kids, and then tribe was our not so high level kids. And I thought it was a really positive experience for the tribe kids because, okay, we put them in the same comps because I'm not going to be bothered with going to different comps. And also, to be completely honest, I have too big an ego with paws to then put them into a separate comp.
That's always the thing. And people see them and go, that's what your studio's
capable of. And I think it's hard for me being who I am now with the coaching, like in Dance Principles United.
Absolutely.
To then be.
That's just real,
So anyway, that's my ego right there, guys, as you can all hear.
Oh,
so then.
No, I've got to be honest with that. That absolutely killed me when I'd go to comps, and I didn't want to be rude and go, these are just our B kids. But there'd be studio owners and I'd be like, oh my God, this isn't actually what we're capable of. These are just, and we'd only have 3 performance, routines. And then normally we'd have, 45 troops or whatever in the other comp. I'm like, this is just, it's hard, right?
And as you said, it's not even that I'm not proud of those kids.
No.
Those kids still are achieving amazing
Absolutely.
things with doing what they're doing, but it's just a different level.
Yeah.
So then for me, okay, the tribe, we had a really great year with comp. I'm going to be honest and say we really crushed it this year and placed first, second or third in pretty much everything we did, which is amazing. Very proud of our team and all the things. The tribe kids didn't place, right? Or they very rarely placed or they'd get a highly commended or whatever it was. So.
But you felt it was positive for them regardless because they would shine.
100%. And the kid who would never ever get a special part was doing a mount or a back walkover.
And before they were hidden at the back, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
So for me, I was like, this is amazing.
Doesn't matter that they're not placing.
Parents did not feel like that, Amanda. Some did.
Yeah.
And probably parents who hadn't been in the comp teams the rest of the time and who hadn't been so much a part of that were the ones that were like, this is the most amazing thing. Thank you. We're so grateful. Our child's having the best time. We don't ever make it about winning either when we're at comp. Even when our comp kids win, we never go, yay, you won. We're always like, yay, you did a great job off stage. So even if they come up to me and go, we got first, I'm like, great job, move on.
Yeah.
So we're very clear on that, but they still clearly felt it, the tribe kids.
Yeah.
So they were not happy about it. And I had parents at re-enrolment crying
Oh, God.
that their child had not been given an invitation to go up into company.
Okay, so they were in the tribe, which was the B, and then they were hoping for an invitation up. So now it's just invitation only. It's not let's take anyone. It's invitation only
Into company.
into company. But you still have the tribe.
No, I'm changing it next year. So I'm doing tribe classes and then I'm doing a development program where
Okay.
they're going to learn one troop. And so we've invited the tribe kids into the development program where they'll do a technique class and then a troop class and trying to change it up. So as I said to you, I don't have all the answers. But
And
what
I think that's okay to be real.
yes, but what I can tell you is it is by far the best thing for my company kids. It has also boosted my private lessons, as you can hear, out of control because everybody wants a private so that they're now in company.
So do they have to? They don't have to have a private to be in company. No.
Definitely don't have to have a private,
Yeah.
but they all want a private because they want the opportunity to be in company. So that's gone crazy and it's really hard.
So you've had some hard moments with kids that you probably adore that haven't been invited because they're not at the standard.
Correct.
Do you think you're going to lose clients over it?
No, because I offered, so 2 of the 10s, for example, and I had this parent meeting last night. So I said to them, 1, I'm not here to set your child up to fail and I
Yes.
don't want to do that.
Yep.
My suggestion is we have an assistant teacher, Jordan, who's working with Lockie, who's teaching that class. Book a private lesson with Jordan and just work on the choreography,
Yes.
but also let's stay in touch with each other and make sure that those children are actually cope. Because I genuinely do care about the child.
Oh, I know.
And I genuinely do care that I don't want them to be in that group. Because one of these mums was like, I need her confidence built and her confidence isn't built being in tribe. And I'm like, yes, but her confidence also will not be built.
Yes, in
like
the other one.
actually her confidence is being built in tribe because she's
Yes.
very featured
It's-
and centre front of tribe.
It's probably your confidence that's not.
100%.
It's your ego as the mum.
100%. But then I'm like, okay, let's try this as a stepping stone and see what happens. And
So wait, just so I'm clear, and sorry if I missed this, this kid, you've put her in, but she has to have privates to make sure she's up to scratch. Is that right? Or you've put her in
With the
trial?
choreography.
With the choreography, yeah.
So the assistant teacher in there
Is
will
just-
take her for a private lesson
to go over the choreography to
Correct.
make sure, and you're going to stay in touch just to check that she's doing okay
Correct.
on it. I love that you've taken the time and the care to, rather than just go, oh, look, you're not invited, sorry. And then being too scared to answer the phone, being too scared. Because I feel like that's a lot of studio owners, right?
Yep.
You send out like comp team invitations or audition notices or whatever and then be like, oh, that mum's going to be mad at me, so I'm just going to hide from her. You've obviously had a meeting and like worked it out with her and worked on something that's a good
Correct.
solution for both of you.
And I'm really big on that. And on VIP enrollment day, she was really in my face about it. Like,
Yeah.
not aggressive, but just very passionate about
Yes.
her child. And and there's a massive line of people as well behind her. And so I just said to her, this is a bigger conversation than today. And I don't feel like I can answer all of your questions right now. So let's have a meeting next week when you and I can actually sit down properly, because I also wasn't clear on a solution. And I
Yes.
said that to her yesterday. I said, I was shutting you down at that time because I didn't have a solution yet.
Yes.
And I don't want to try and come up with this quick
Yeah,
solution.
you don't want to just make it. You want to think about it and do
Correct.
what's best for the child and for the studio and for the
Correct.
other children in the group. I love that. It is like, it's such a journey. And I think we all
So
have
hard.
to evolve our studios and so you're making big changes, like 23, I don't know how many years you've had your studio, 22, 23 years in.
22.
Yep. Which I think is so impressive. And sometimes we just got to do that. And there's not always a right or a wrong answer. It's just about making the decision and moving forward with it.
It's constantly evolving. And so with our 4, 5s and 6s, we don't invite. We just tell everyone they're in 4, 5s and 6s troop.
Okay.
So when they leave preschool, we just say to them, you go into comp. We don't give them another option. There
There's
is
no-
other options.
but they don't know that.
We have 3 days of rec, kindy to year 2, 3 days.
Okay.
So it's not like there's no other options. But we just say to them, great, you're graduating preschool. Now you go into 4s, 5s or 6s, because 4s, sometimes kids start school at 4,
Yep.
right? So you just go into that and they do 4 comps a year. And they
So how do you word that? You don't say you're now a comp kid. You just say, hey, cool. So you're now in our 4 and under team. They do
Yeah.
4 comps a year.
Yep.
Yeah.
They purchase 1 costume.
Yep, don't overthink
for the
it,
whole
you just-
year.
yep.
And, you know, it's a great experience for them. The end.
I love that because when we sign up for soccer, right, we don't go, oh,
Do they do comp?
are they playing in
Yeah.
a team? I thought we're
Yeah.
just coming to training. Like
Yeah.
if they don't know, they don't, like it's just what's expected.
Correct.
So you just go, hey, awesome. So now you're doing a couple of comps a year. This is what's happening, plus our end of year and mid year concerts. Yeah, I love it.
Correct. So that's why we have, we had 57 in jazz, but overall, over the 5 different things that we do, we had 82 6 and unders this year
Ooh.
in comp. Is that crazy?
Yeah.
So those kids now, we can see such a journey with some of them. And I really believe this, that you can have a 4 and under who you think is a total space cadet, but by the time they're 6, they're one of your best kids.
Yes.
And that's
They
why
grow
I
a
think
lot.
that age group shouldn't be selected, because
Okay.
you will never know that child could become the next rock star. But I feel like that across the board, because if we talk about BB, she was the back line of 6s. She was flexible but floppy. And I used to complain to my staff and say, I can't believe I've had a child who's not going to be a dancer.
Isn't that funny?
And she just won World Dance Review. So I do think that we have to look very carefully at our students and at the potential that they can have.
Yes.
And
And not
Keisha's-
judge them too quickly.
Correct. Keisha's
Yeah.
another example.
Yeah.
Keisha joined us when she was 9. I remember Kieran Kulik taught a tap routine and there was 40 in the tap routine, and Keisha was back corner of that routine.
Yes.
And she was back corner of every single routine.
Yep.
And she just did full time at Dance Force and is
And it's
probably one of my
beautiful.
amazing dancer and singer
Yeah.
and all the things.
Yeah.
Incredible. So just don't deny them that journey if they're passionate. And that's how I felt about these 2 little ones as well, because their mums are like, they're so passionate. They're practicing all the time. They want it so much. And so when I hear that, I'm like, okay, let's invest some time and effort into them, because they might be the next BB or Keisha.
Yes.
Just because they're not quite there now, you never know.
Absolutely. And you never know when all of a sudden it's going to click for them, right?
Correct. Correct. So that's my comp journey, guys. So am I doing it right? I don't know. Another question that people ask me is, how many classes do our comp kids do?
Tell me that.
And I know that's a question that a lot of the clients are asking me at the moment, because obviously we have a very high standard at
Yes.
Pause. I think right now I'm probably the highest I've ever been in my career of owning the studio, but I also think I have to be, because as you know, I'm very competitive. I want to win and I want my kids to win.
Absolutely.
And also they're putting hard time in. So what do we expect of them now? It's changed definitely, and we don't expect this of 6s. So with 6s, they don't have really anything they have to do except a 45-minute tech.
Plus their choreography class, like a jazz choreography.
Well, if they do hip hop, they don't do anything except hip hop.
so they
they
can
just learn a hip hop
choose to be
troupe in
the
there.
hip hop
If
troupe.
they do ballet, they have to do the ballet exam class before, and then they do the ballet troupe. Lyrical and jazz, they do the 45-minute tech, and then they do the jazz, and then they do the lyrical.
Okay.
So we don't have those
Okay.
requirements.
So some of them would be doing an hour and a half a week to be in their comp teams.
Correct. Which is fine.
And then what about when they get older? What about for your 8s, for example?
8s, we've now just this year added, and I have 34 enrolled, so I'm not regretting it, acro and ballet.
So they have to do acro, ballet, technique, and then each style that they want to be in the routine.
Correct.
45-minute classes.
Yes.
Cool. Love that. Older ones the same? Or does it,
Older ones, so for like,
or they just all do it so it's really not a drama?
well, that's the thing, like, it's interesting, right? So I was looking at our stats this year, and 15% of our kids do 10 plus classes, which is huge.
Yes.
When you think about it.
Absolutely.
And so it's just because they start to get FOMO. So they see that a kid in 6s, for example, and I can tell you now that I would say out of our 25 6s, at least 15 of them are now doing privates. And it's because they see the kid do the back walkover, and then
they
they
wanna
want to
do
do
it.
the back
Absolutely.
walkover, and then they see the kids
Becomes
in the
the
mount
norm.
section, and they want to do the mount. So majority of our kids would be doing all the classes anyway because they have FOMO.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Very.
So most of your, like, let's talk about a 12 and under troupe. Most of them, doing like 8, 10 classes a week?
at least.
Yeah, 45-minute classes at
Yes,
least.
at least. And so when they get to 12s, their ballet class becomes an hour and a half. Their tech class is an hour and a half.
So they have to do those.
Correct. If they do
4,
contemporary troupe, they do a contemporary tech because contemporary tech is very different.
Yeah, okay. So they do a contemporary tech plus a contemporary choreography
Correct.
class. So there's a bit
And
more
like
into it. And then the hip hop, the jazz, the lyrical. Yeah.
Correct. And there's probably a kid that'll just come and do hip hop and an acro.
So they can just choose just to be part of the hip hop routine and that's it.
and
Little ones can.
Yes, the little ones can.
Yeah.
But I also think it's important to remember that we are very passionate at my school about allowing kids the opportunity to go to full-time and become professional dancers. And so I have to train them accordingly.
Oh, absolutely.
Anyone that's interested in professional dance, I will say to them, tell me now at age 12 that you want to do it because I can't get you to the level of ballet I need to get you to because ballet is the most important.
Absolutely.
Every audition has ballet. I was talking to Michelle Leong, who's one of our teachers, but she just subs at the moment because she's in so many musicals. She did the Lion King audition, 4 hours of ballet.
Whoa.
Not a point shoe to be seen in that musical. You will not see a giraffe on point. However, every one of those girls had to bring their point shoes out.
Point shoes on. Wow.
It's just very interesting, and I think
How did she, because probably some of them haven't done point. Like, they might still be taking ballet class, but not point, right?
Right.
That's going to be crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think we as teachers need to realize how important that technical ballet side of things is. We were talking about this at the table at Studio Growth Club today, but we're starting to lose those technical elements because we're just teaching them
choreography and tricks.
All the tricks for the commercial and the tricks for
acro
solos. Yeah. But that's not actually what happens in an audition. It's interesting.
Absolutely. I find that also interesting. And I think it's so great that you allow different kids to have different journeys. And I think I want to pull back to, what you were kind of just touching on there. Like, you're a very high-end studio. That's why you've got the kids do huge amounts of hours, etc. Yes. But the way you got there and the way you got that many kids there was by lowering the minimums to start with.
Correct.
You lowered the minimums. And as you said, it was only and you still have low minimums at sixes.
Very.
To sort of start them on that journey and let them fall in love with it themselves. I think that's kind of where I'm seeing because, it's not like, oh, they have to do this, they have to do this. You're like, oh, they just all do it. Because you're teaching them that's the way to go, but you let them fall in love with it themselves rather than going, oh, it's compulsory, you must do this, you must do that, which then puts people off and they just don't sign up for your comp teams, right?
Correct. And even our 8s and 10s only have to do 4 classes.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, it would have been 3% of my school that do 4 classes. Like it's such a minute amount of kids because they all want to do more.
So you've instilled that love rather than making it compulsory. Correct. And then them all just tapping out.
And it's not just love, it's FOMO, and it's the band. We have a band for every age group. Yes. And I mean like an app where we post every single day, every teacher has to post what they did in the class. So they're seeing what the acro kids, the circus kids, the jazz kids, the hip hop, they're seeing what all of those classes do every single day on their app.
And I want to
getting
do that
FOMO.
Too. Yeah, super clever. I love that. Hopefully this inspired you a little bit to think outside the box.
And didn't confuse you.
Because, and we don't have all the answers.
No.
I don't think there is a right or a wrong answer sometimes.
Yeah.
I think there's the right answer for your studio. And
Absolutely.
that's why, sometimes you need a little bit more context to give people advice, which obviously we can't do on this podcast. But it's just interesting hearing other people's journeys, right?
So interesting. Love chatting about it.
Always. Thanks, friends.
Bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Dance Principles United podcast. If you'd love to learn more from us, we have a special offer just for our podcast listeners. Go to the link in the show notes right now to get 2 weeks free in Dance Principles United Tribe. We would love to see you there.